Let's jump to Australia, boys. All right, before I hear all the qualms that I'm no longer a streamer because I took 4 days off to travel to Australia, let me tell you why. Maybe I can give you a good enough reason of why I went to Australia and what I did there that you're not going to be like so upset that I haven't been streaming so much. Perhaps we can find ourselves a bit of middle ground. Now, it's been a whirlwind month so far. We're not even done with July yet. But July obviously started with mogul money. We did the Beerio Kart. I had my birthday, July 4th, and then this entire Australia trip. Anyway, after the whirlwind starts of the month, the first half of the month, I ended up deciding to go to Australia. Now, I had been known, it's been new that the Yard Boys were going to Australia for a while because the reason they went was a Smash Bros tournament called Phantom. And if you watched my stream 2 days ago, you might have seen the top 32 of that event. It was a pretty good event. There were some good players, some good melee to be had. So they were planning on going, but I wasn't because, you know, I had been doing so many things. And like next week, I'm going on vacation with Cutie's family. And I didn't want to not stream for so long and then have chat say, are you even a streamer? Skull face emoji. Bro, does this channel even go live anymore? And then I checked my YouTube comments on my last video, and that was all the comments. So it's happening anyway, but whatever. That's why I originally wasn't going to go. But in the lead up, some news was made known to me that made me change my mind. 4 things happened. There were 4 things happening in Australia, and that's why I decided to go. Number 1 was filming the Yard. I have never missed a Yard episode. We've been doing the Yard for over a year. I've never missed a main episode. I missed a few bonus episodes, but I've never missed a main episode. So I was like, yeah, okay, this could be worth. 2, Phantom was happening, and Mango said I was allowed to stream Phantom if I went. That pretty good. Not only do I get to go, I do the Yard, I also get a 6-hour stream in. That feels good. Number 3, I wasn't gonna have any voice cracks. Number 3, cold ones. I've been talking to Max for like on and off for like a year and a half because I watch a lot of Max's Pokemon unboxings, and I'd reach out to him in the past, and I was like, you know, hey, and he's like, hey, if you're ever in Australia, cold ones, and I was like, yeah, I'll do cold ones. And so that 3rd one, cold ones, and then the 4th reason is because the Trash Taste Boys coincidentally were in Australia the same weekend for an anime convention, get this, called SmashCon. And this is like my last opportunity to hang out with them before they fuck off to Japan and eat katsudon, or I don't know, whatever you do in Japan. So those are my 4 reasons. Those are my 4 pillars to go to Australia. They're my 4 goals. It was not a vacation per se. I needed some work things to justify going. And as I'm booking the tickets, let me preface this by saying I feel like I'm not a guy that spends an egregious amount of money on things. I have 2 exceptions. Are really dumb shit for stream and things, experiential things that make my life more comfortable or give me good memories. Whether it's like a little vacation or, in this case, a business class ticket, which is kind of a cheat code. I mean, the cheat code is just being rich, but it's kind of tight because you get a lie down seat. It's crazy. I have a video of it. It's kind of cringe though. I don't know if I want to show you guys. The only video I took, I'm not a vlogger. I like to experience things and then tell you the story about it later. However, I sent like a 2-minute video to Cutie about, I gave her like a room tour. It's so cringe.
Yo, what up? Room tour.
I can't watch myself. I can't watch myself be a human.
At the Delta One business class jet for you. So this is my seat, which is nice. That's everyone else that's here. I'm in the front, so it's a wall. I'm in the middle section. Coat hanger. Nifty next to the TV, which, you know, TV, cool.
Anyway, you get the idea. Cringe tour aside, that is what I spent my money on. How much was it? It was a number that is a little too embarrassingly high to admit, but it was very expensive. But that is the flight I took there. It was like 15K. It was like 15K. Okay, whatever. It was like $15,000. It was a lot of money, but it was on the business card. So get fucked, whoever owns this business that I work in. Okay, it was on the business card. It's on the business card. It was. I know. I told you. I told you it's a stupid. I told you before I prefaced. Did I not say it's a stupid? It was a stupid amount of money. Slime loves that. I didn't tell him. I did get a credit card from Delta, and I got 5% back though. So, kind of making money if you think about it. I'm in there. It takes off at 11 p.m. Wednesday. Right? 11 p.m. Wednesday. It arrives, it lands in Sydney, Australia at 7 a.m. on Friday. And what I did is the dumbest fucking thing possible. I got on the plane, I ate food, and I took a nappy time. But I took a nappy time in the first 9 hours. I slept for 8 hours straight, but I slept in the first 9. So I technically woke up at like 3 a.m. Australia time. And then I landed at 7. And this started what is probably the longest day of my life. I landed at 7 a.m. And the first thing I do is I go to my hotel. I get my things arranged. I have very little time. I have maybe like 45 minutes to take a shower. And then I have to go shoot the yard. Right after the yard, I have a quick lunch with the Trash Taste guys. And then bang, I have to jump on a plane to go do Cold Ones. Because they're in a different city in Australia. I didn't know if this was public info, but a few people have already said it in chat. But yeah, it's in Melbourne. I'm going to my flight. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm fucking dumb. I'm a streamer. I'm not all that put together. Nick Yingling, my personal assistant, is the one who booked the ticket for me. On the ticket, it says like BYO jet. So I arrive at the Sydney airport flying to Melbourne. And I'm at the wrong terminal. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I walk to another terminal. I got there an hour early. I'm just lost. I'm walking around trying to figure out where things are. I get into line to get my ticket with about 37 minutes before my plane takes off. There's maybe 3 people in front of me. If you have never been an avid flyer, you might not know that 30 minutes before your plane takes off, they shut off the ticket printing. You cannot print a ticket within 30 minutes of the plane taking off. It's just a rule. It's worldwide. You just can't do it. So I'm in the line, and I'm thinking I'm going to make it. And then this is when I needed to start downloading Andrew Tate podcasts because I realized I was a beta. A man cuts me in line, looks at me in a very cheerful Australian accent. He goes, "Oh, how you going, mate?" And I was stun locked. And I went, "I'm going good." And I just let it happen. Because I didn't know if he was there earlier. He made it seem like it was supposed to happen. Because there was people behind me too. And none of them said it. There was like 4 people behind me, 2 people in front, and he cuts in. And I'm like, wow, why? He made it seem like that's supposed to happen. I don't know. I got top G'd in that moment. I let it happen. And I was like, well, I hope this doesn't fuck me over. Spoiler alert, it fucks me over. I finally get through the line. And when I go up to the lady, there are 29 minutes left until my flight is going to take off. I catch this lady too. She helped the guy right before me, the guy who cut me, and she's about to walk away, and I go, excuse me. And she's like, "Oh, sorry, hon, just about to take off. Is it something quick?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just need to print out my ticket." And she's like, "Well, do you have any bags?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "All right then." And she stays to help. And she's like, and she's doing the thing where she's like flight attendants do. Ooh, sorry, Hans. Looks like they've closed the gates already. And I'm already preparing a manifesto in my head that I'm going to drop on Twitter like influencers do when they get on their stupid high horse about how you should never fly Qantas Air. And that those rat scallions have zero respect for me. Do they even know who I am? But before I can do that, she goes, "Huh, all right." So she starts talking to herself. Give me just a moment. And just for a little context, this is important. She's like a 35, 40-year-old woman, beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. She blonde hair, huge knockers. It's relevant, I promise. Picks up the phone. Bring, 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 bring. And then as it's ringing, she goes, I think I know the person working there. Phone conversation starts. And I know things are going well because she starts like this. Oh, is that Ricky? Well, how you doing? And starts schmoozing a little. She's like, I'm so glad it was you. Yeah, one of my favorite here. Haven't seen you yet today. What's that all about? And I'm sitting here, and part of me is like, this is taking up a lot of time. You are flirting, and my plane leaves in 26 minutes and 20 seconds. And the other part of me is like, this is my only option. She keeps going. She's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm off at 9. No, I could be down for drinks tonight. And in the middle of this flirtation, she cuts him off real quick. She goes, sorry, Ricky, it's just got a fella here. He's just trying to go home for the holidays. Is it possible to just get one ticket printed out? And I hear through the phone, the only thing I hear Ricky say the whole time, he goes, yeah, it's all right. And immediately she's like, I'm going to give you she says this, I promise she says this. She goes, I'm going to give you the biggest hug when I see you later. And I'm like, God damn, Joanne the goat. I am literally soy jacking when I hear this. I'm like, and I think she sees my soy jack. She wants to double down and prove she's the GOAT. So she goes, well, that security line looks awful long. Let me sneak you on through. Walks me through to the front of the security line. The plane is supposed to close 15 minutes before. There are maybe 21 minutes left before it takes off. I skip to the front. I just go through security, very lax compared to lax, get through, and I get on the plane. I try not to talk to Ricky before I get on because I don't want to unravel the lie that I'm actually an American who didn't really need to make this flight, but because I wasn't going home, but I just needed to do a podcast with Cold Ones people. Anyway, shout out Joanne, Qantas, goated airline. Hop on the plane, and then as I land, my data comes back because I didn't buy internet on the plane. I was just reading a book. When I land, my data comes back, and my phone blows up, and I have like 15 texts from Max Mofo. 15. He's like in a panic. He's like, where are you? What's going on? Are you okay? Ludwig, are you alive? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, oh, thank God. Because I was about to tweet this out. In the time that I had been flying from Sydney to Melbourne, he had printed out a 2-foot by 3-foot poster that says, lost streamer. If you find him, call this number, with a picture of my face, which had to take in way more effort than could possibly be imagined. It was, you had to go to a printing place for this. And I take my Uber there. And look, I know what happens on Cold Ones. I've been very wary. Like, for example, I was like, I messaged him. I was like, hey, just so you know, my limit is 8 beers. That's it. Thinking that I'd set a limit. Admittedly, I lied. I can drink like 12 beers and I'll be fine. But I said 8, thinking that, they'll probably try to sneak it up a bit. And as I expected, when I said I have an 8 limit max, he replies, we'll see. Not the greatest thing to read back. I also eat a lot of food and I have a coffee because bear in mind, it is now like 6 p.m. So I'm very deep into my day. I arrive, I'm at the studio, and we finish out the podcast. And I'm like, oh, finally. Time for bed. All right. I've puked, had an 80%. I've rallied. I've been up for about like 17, 18 hours at this point. An average human, you're supposed to be up 16 hours, sleep 8 hours. It's normal. I'm a little past, I'm overdue. I'm like, great. And then Chad's like, all right, time to go out. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, time to go out. And I'm like, oh, all right. But when in Rome, I'm only in Australia for so long. I've never been before. You're not going to pass up on the opportunity to go out with Cold Ones, gentlemen, Max and Chad. So we go out. Chad, now I was a little nervous at first to meet Chad because I didn't really, in my mind, he was a drinking juggernaut, the likes of which the world had never seen. And he is that. Can I also say Chad is the sweetest teddy bear of a man I had ever met. He was simultaneously like incredibly fucked up, just a menace in the streets. But then he would also go up to me and he would give me his big puffer jacket because it was winter there and I only had like my sweatshirt. And he was like, all right, well, let's get you home, buddy. Like, let's get you back to the hotel. Anyway, I get to the hotel. I sleep and I have to get up from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. to make my flight. Spoiler alert, I missed my flight. It is what it is. I get a new one. And then I go back to Sydney next day. That was day one. This was just one day that I spent in Australia. This is day one. Great day. What I didn't expect, and maybe this is weird of me, Chad and Max liked me. And not just liked me, they liked the rest of the Yard Boys. And they come to hang out and go to the Smash event. And I was like, that's cool. And it turns into this weird crossover where now in Sydney, Australia, there's the Cold One Boys. I did a thing in Boy Boy. The Trash Taste guys are there for the anime convention. The Smashers are there for the Smash tournament. The Yard Boys are there for filming the Yard, and I'm there. It's this amalgamation of lads that have all somehow ended up in the Southern Hemisphere at the same time in the same place. And we start hanging out, and this is where a bit of degeneracy starts. Because we go out, and what I didn't realize is Sydney is a really cool city. I actually have no qualms with the city of Sydney. I think it's an amazing Sydney. It's a city. It's beautiful. Major problem that I have with Sydney, they close very early. Everything closes at 11 p.m. And I learned about this. Apparently, people in Sydney were going to bars late, getting drunk, and there was a lot of street fights, maybe like people stealing bikes, general degeneracy. And they made a law that all bars have to close at 11 a.m. It was or 11 p.m. It was a lockout law. And also because of COVID, it kind of interlapsed because COVID is very strict, the restrictions in Australia. Everything closes at 11 p.m. There are literally two things to do in Sydney past 11 p.m. It is one, go to a karaoke bar, or two, go to a casino. Because if you want to continue drinking, those are the only places that will allow you to do that. We go out to the karaoke bar, and I just have one clip from this night. I'm lying down talking to Garnt. As I'm talking to Garnt, I look up at this karaoke bar, and I think this clip encapsulates how this night went. If that is not one of the most horrible things you have ever seen in your life, you've lived a fucked life. That's the Dr. Jekyll, by the way. The floor was sticky like a movie theater. I was wearing shoes that were slightly too tight, and I've been wearing them all day, and my feet were dogged. So I was socks only, but I was like, all right, whatever. Now, with that added context, let's watch this clip one more time. Do not! Feral behavior. Feral behavior at the karaoke bar. And then if you're wondering how the karaoke went, I'll just show you a quick clip. Anyway, that was night two. Go to my hotel, wake up, the final day begins. And this is Sunday. And this is the day, if you guys watched Phantom on my stream, that was Saturday for you guys. This is the final day of Phantom. Afterwards, this was one of my favorite memories that I think I'll ever have. It ended up being a combination of the Cold Ones guys, the Smashers, the Yard Boys, the Sydney Boys, like I did a thing in Boy Boy, Trash Taste guys. Everybody came to hang out. This is like 6 p.m., by the way. Look how many people are here. Everybody in this group was part of the same group. All these people were part of the same group. It was like 50. There was more on the left too, because there's like another alleyway. It was like 50 people. This is by the way, this is all the people leaving. The other thing that happened in Spice Alley was a meeting of the minds. Mango met Chad from Cold Ones. Mango and Chad are cut from the same cloth. Mango is a drinking champion. He won Beerio Kart. Far and away goated at drinking compared to any American. Chad, the Australian version. Legendary drinker, absolute legend. Several times during this night in Spice Alley, they would do a chug-off. And to Mango's credit, they did 2 bottle races. Mango crushed both. He beat Chad in both. But since they were chugging so many beers, Mango started to get pretty drunk. And so we all start hanging out at this new bar. The moment they enter the bar, Chad has unresolved beef with Mango. It's another chug off. Shout out Don B. This time in glasses, which is what Chad had asked for. Now, bear in mind, up to this point, Mango's 2-0 on Chad. This is game 3. Dude, legend. Very fast on the chug. Chad wins one. And that also starts the beginning of the downfall of Mango. He starts to get a little bit tipsy. And Mango, when he's drunk, specifically with me, likes to start boxing. And he's so rowdy that he's even throwing the Australians off. And he starts going up to me and he's just punching my calves. And he's like throwing out good jabs too. Powerful jabs. He's just fucking poof, poof, poof. Now, if you've never heard this story, I've sworn off fighting Mango. I refuse to fight him. He's like a titan. It takes too much to take him down, and I'm not willing to go to that level. In this case, I don't want it enough. But Mango's also persistent. So he just keeps jabbing. And all the Australians are like, because I'm not fighting back, they're like, what? Is this normal? And like Joey Lucky's like, he's like trying to hold Mango back. And Mango's like a cartoon character. He'll get held back. And like, imagine you guys are me right now. He's like this. And then I'll get pulled back. And he'll jump in like this. He'll go like a fucking cartoon character. He does this for 10 minutes. And I'm a patient guy. But my patience was wearing thin. And eventually I crack. And I walk up and I'm like, all right, if I just put him down, he'll stop. And I just grab him. But of course, I'm a little bit drunk. I'm not fighting great. And Mango's really hard to take down. So I get him. I try to do him. It creates enough commotion that the bartender comes over. In the moment we are separated, goes to Mango and he goes, look, mate, you just got to quit it. Mango, without hesitating, does one of these. The guy's like 6'5". Mango's like 5'8" or 9. He goes, fuck you. Turns right back, goes to jab me. You can imagine what happens next. He gets kicked out. Pretty instantly, Mango gets kicked out of the bar. And then enters Mango outside the bar at the window.
He wants it.
No! Oh my God. And everyone is treating him like a zoo animal. I had a great time feeding the animals. And then here's them trying to hook him up with the vape. And then I have this video of him just outside humping the glass. Just an absolute menace. We end up leaving the bar and we go to another bar across the street somewhere. It takes maybe 5 minutes for Mango to get kicked out at the new bar. He somehow ends up sneaking back in, but the bartender is like, I'm not serving you drinks. Someone tries to buy a drink for him. The bartender, as Mango's drinking it, like snatches it out. Absolute menace. And so a few of us, because Mango specifically is trying to fight me, I'm like, okay, maybe if I'm out of Mango's AOE, he becomes less aggro. Maybe I am setting off Mango. We create an escape plan. We sneak into a bar, we go through a back door, and we escape, just a few of us. And we go to a different bar, and then the rest of the night from there on out is pretty chill. Honestly, that night is probably one of the best nights I've had hanging out with creators especially. Do you have bruises? Just a bit. It's not much. For free? Yeah, I'm trying to up the wiki feed. I dropped from 5.5 to 4.98. And that's it. That was my short-lived 3 days in Australia. Weirdest part, flying back, I left at 9 a.m. Monday today. I landed at 6 a.m. same day. So I've done a bit of time traveling. And that was the Australia trip. Good times. Would I go back? Dude, 1,000%. 1,000%.